All right, welcome back to another audio commentary. It's been a little while since we've done one of these. So
Yeah, they're always fun to do.
yeah, today we have two, I guess, shorter episodes. Although I don't really remember how long they actually are. Maybe they're surprisingly long, or maybe they're
At the
just,
time we made them, we probably thought they were long.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think that we were thinking we felt that like anything over 10 minutes was, oh my gosh, how are we going to even be able to handle this? And
And
now,
and how are people going to have interest for anything that long? And now people are like, "Oh, we want long videos."
yeah, exactly. And I think that uh, like most of our videos basically tend to be over 30 minutes at this point, which is we just can't help ourselves anymore.
So anyway,
So I think it's fun to make us watch episodes that we don't like. I picked a couple, at least one episode that I know that both of us don't really like that much.
yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead and start with that one, and that is RGB 102. It was our follow up to 101, which wasn't even 101 at the time. It was more
Right.
it was a surprise.
And it was so popular in terms of what we were doing at the time. Like, it was such like this breakout success, I guess you could say,
Right.
that we felt like we had to do this like immediate follow up. And I remember like trying to like crank it out like the next week. And I think this is actually a different iteration from that. Like, I think
Yes.
we actually took a few more weeks to get this out because I was just like, "Oh, this was such a big hit. Let's do a follow up."
And I feel like
102 doesn't really fit in. I
yes,
feel in
it
the
doesn't.
overarching thing because it was really just almost a response video to the first one.
Yes, and I think even at the time it wasn't even called 102. It was
I don't remember.
I don't think the 10, the 100 stuff, or like the college level numerical numbering wasn't even a thing until maybe 103, or maybe after 102 was already out. It's like, okay, so what if we arranged it like this? Anyways, let's go ahead and start with this.
Okay.
We want to thank everyone for the incredible response.
So this shot is kind of a little out of focus. This was shot with my work camera, and I don't think I was doing any color correction on most shots in the show at this point. And so this is kind of recapping, like, oh, hey, this video got this big response, but people had questions like, how do you connect this or that, or we didn't really clearly show like the SCART adapter for the Framemeister,
which is kind of a huge oversight, but it didn't
RGB
even register to us.
Yeah, I mean, that background on my TV is it was made by Q Games, who did like Pixel Junk and stuff.
Right.
They made this like visualizer for PS3, which
it's like Pixel Junk
nice
AM or something like that, wasn't it? Or PM or something. It was like Pixel Junk AM or PM or something like that.
No, it's not called Pixel Junk. It's just, I think it's just called Music Visualizer or something like that.
We showed this.
And there it is. Look at how beat up that kind of looks.
I know.
Sort of like an S video.
That's from trying to plug things in one shot already. Already, so early on. Of course, my setup is a lot simpler there.
Pretty obvious that the SCART we use for
but I mean, your work camera that you were using has such a different look to it. It almost it's more.
I call it a very source. Yeah, I mean, it is a television. It's an E&G camera is what you would call it, electronic news gathering, which is it has sort of this flat sort of, I call it a sterile sort of look to it.
Mm-hmm.
My Nikon camera that I was using like as my personal DSLR at the time, it was a little over contrasty, but at some point I did make the transition to using it before it kind of developed some problems. Then I got the GH4 that I'm using now.
In my case, my RGB
this is
I was also using
go
on.
Yeah, I was just gonna say there's a lot of angles like this that kind of continue that we don't really come back to until our setup episode, where we're kind of like leaning into the frame.
Yeah, where we were like kind of doing things in like different places.
Yeah,
which is, I mean, it's nice. You know, I see some other YouTube people doing stuff like that where it's like you're kind of going on an adventure with them. You know, you're like they're doing their voiceover in different places. It's fun, but it's definitely harder to do.
Yeah, you got to plan it out a little bit more, and you know, just having to record a couple of lines and then move the camera.
I have done this without really thinking about it.
See, I mean, you're in this position now, and then you were standing up before, so I wonder if you just recorded entire parts of the script while you were down there on the ground.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Right now,
oh, but I mean,
these diagrams.
I
mean, can you even imagine if we tried to make diagrams now, though? That's green screened.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I wouldn't want to make a diagram now.
No.
But I mean, I wonder, I'm sure this gave people a lot of ideas, just kind of seeing it all mapped out this way. You can get...
Those are all Evan Amos pictures, except for the AV Famicom, which is my own because I don't think he had one at that time.
And we are just for show right now, since I currently play those games on the PS2.
You're also using your
and of
the lavalier mic.
That was a work from work, and I can't hear the audio right now, but I did not like the sound. I didn't like how it sounded in this episode, especially when I was on the ground. I think it was kind of up against my neck and sounded a little muffled.
Yeah, and my segment's kind of the same way, where I don't think I used that. I'm using the Zoom for mine, but just the way I set it up is too far away, so that there was always a bit of an echo to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's your old stereo receiver. Do you still have that anywhere?
I do still have it. Yeah, it's got, I tried to use it not long ago for because it can do composite and S-video output over component, which is
that was how it's awesome. Look at that. It's like 2001 back there.
Yeah, I mean, that's it too. I used that round. There's several different colors and of like the different types of visualizers. Like I used some of these visualizers in the in the soundtracks episode as well.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember in when I was showing the Persona 5 discs, I like actually had the discs spinning in the middle around with that like dancing around it.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, right? Well, it's handy.
And again, this is before we really even knew anything about like PVMs. Like RGB was all about Framemeister to us at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's so amazing to me that like we were so accepted into this scene from having like started off like not really knowing that much. Like we were real newbies here, and it just still amazes me that people like didn't like give us crap for like not talking about CRTs from the very beginning.
Yeah, it's true. I mean,
like at this time I still enjoyed CRTs, but like I didn't know anything about professional CRTs, and I didn't actively have any setup and connect. But I liked them. I had CRTs, but they weren't part of my main setup at all.
I didn't realize that you were talking about that HDMI splitter, that you talked about that in this, because that was kind of a happy accident where I bought it off of eBay randomly. It was just like a generic listing for them, and it stripped the HDCP, and because of that I bought several more. So I have like one backup here.
You have a lot less room to work with.
There you are. You lived in.
I lived in this
that,
house
that was
for
a
like
rental.
10 years.
Yeah, like 7 months probably.
Oh, really? Was that short?
Yeah, it seems like a long time, but no, I was only there from March until
I have more space, but not a whole
November. So yeah, 7 months. 7.
As you can see here, I have
You don't have that many PS1 games there.
I had a lot of stuff still like in storage.
Oh, okay.
keep it out.
I was
Look
looking
at
at
how
the
long,
Kiwi.
young my daughter is. She's so little right there.
Wow.
I keep my Framemeister at the base.
I
desktop
was looking at the
right next
Kiwi
to it.
Craze
It makes it
episode
very
not
easy
long
to switch
ago,
my
and I was
inputs
like,
as
"Are
That's
you
a reverse
serious?
shot.
I only had that many
Here I have the Sega
PS1
Saturn
games.
hooked up via
It was like
SCART.
on
I
my
have
shelf.
the
It was
Genesis
it was not
PC
much.
hooked up via SCART as well.
So are you still using these exact same towers, or is it different towers?
I use one of those. I have a different one. I have a second one that's a black
Because the
one.
ones you're using now are black. Yeah.
Well, I have one that's black and I have one that's
I've got
silver.
my GameCube and Game Boy player out.
There's a lot of like sort of some flashy transitions.
Oh yeah, yeah.
We don't overuse those too much anymore.
No, only if it makes sense. And for the most part, I'm more of a fan of like the dip to black now if I can.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a reason to do an effect transition, I will. But I like to.
Going down one more, we had the.
Oh, I like your multi-out on your
Oh, my
NES more than mine.
Yeah, I mean my RGB NES is pretty nice. I mean, I should go back and look at the listing for it and see if it's anybody that is reputable, because it's like reputable or whatever. It's like I don't remember who I bought it from, but it was just an eBay.
Yeah, but you showed it to Voltar and he said,
was like,
"Oh,
"Oh,
actually, it looks pretty good."
Yeah, exactly. That's my old Slim.
Just below that, I have
Oh yeah, that's the 9000, right?
Yes, which I don't really use that much anymore.
Region modded
Yeah.
and RGB modded.
There's
It's such an
Juke
interesting
Dance system right
Yeah.
there.
Damn, the games are.
You had probably had that for only a few months at that point.
Yeah, probably not even a few months, probably like 2 months.
Like my Sega Dreamcast.
And so down here, like the systems you still had connected with S video, or at least some of
an
them.
original Xbox, which I got at Goodwill for like 15.
I don't know about if you. I know you had N64 S video. Okay, Xbox was
And on
component.
top of it is an N64 hooked up with S video.
It's like it's so janky down there.
For RGB pretty soon. So now that you've seen everything I have,
This is I'm pretty proud of this shot. Although yeah, I like
Framemeister
you
is my
could see
main
my
hub.
Space Harrier machine
If I'm
there.
playing a game,
Yeah.
it has to be on. That's
So
the
like you had like your work
This is a
and
component
play
switch.
set up in
This
like
switches the original
the
Xbox
same
and
A
PS.
room
tiny
that
room,
your
yeah.
wife
Goes out
had
into
her
the D
like
terminal
work
on the back of the
computer.
frame.
set up.
Yes, it was her computer and my computer run this on the table that I use now for like my computer, my
This one right here
CRTs.
connects S video and composite. To this one I have.
Man, that impact switcher was the greatest thing for so long, but it's
This
got
splits all three of those systems into the
you know,
S
it
video
kind of
input on the
darkens and
frame.
softens the image a little bit.
A little bit, but I mean, I think that most people won't care. But I mean, I think that now that
Right, but I mean, when
So
making
my switcher,
comparisons,
so I can
though,
kind of
Yes,
my
exactly.
PC goes down to
it-
one input.
and
I'm
there,
glad we've
there
got
is
the
like
G-Cons
some
now.
vertically scrolling noise in it, but I can only see it if I
Oh,
And
took
finally, my
like a
Saturn,
recording and like really
Genesis,
cranked up the
NES,
brightness
Super
in
NES,
contrast.
Oh.
You can
PC
kind of see it
engine
faintly in the
going
image.
into the
yeah. I
SCART
mean, it's
mini
definitely
detector
not
in front of the
not
frame.
the perfect
I
thing
can't
to
wait
use.
until we finally find a SCART switcher to suit our needs.
Oh, let's see.
This is starting to get old.
Oh, look at all those labeled.
Yeah, I still have some of those.
So few back then.
Yeah, but that's
So as you can see,
I mean, that's a
every
pretty
single one of these
complicated
consoles goes into the Framemeister.
setup. I almost feel like that's
From
more
there,
complicated than
I have a
yours.
single HDMI cable going out of the Framemeister.
It probably
into
was
the
at the
splitter.
time. Yeah, I'm sure it was. Well, I
And
mean,
out
you
of the
had
splitter, one
you
HDMI
had
cable
more
goes to my
systems. I
Gator
mean,
Media
I didn't have a
Extreme
PC
Cast
engine at the
3. And the
time.
other one
Did you have a
goes to
Saturn
my
at the
television.
time?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you've got a Saturn.
yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
So what
did
does
I
this
have
all
a Saturn?
add up to?
I think I
Well, it
had
means
Those
I
are my
can
old
capture
computer
footage from any of
monitors,
these
too.
consoles over
Maybe
here.
I
I'm
didn't.
still
I don't
using
think I
that
had a Saturn.
desktop though.
30 seconds of press.
So use that same background.
And then I can play
I
games
I
on
love
the big
that
TV over there
the wood.
while sitting on this
background.
wrap
Mhm.
couch.
It's
But
got
no,
that good
this
old
is like one of my
trackball.
favorite things because it's many takes that I did this. You know, I'm playing something different every time. But you can't see the edits, obviously.
Yeah. And it was just on. It was on the motorized
turntable.
turntable.
Yeah, the tripod is balanced on it
Well,
somehow.
we hope this has clarified.
I hate
most
that
of
like
your
you can
That's
see me
amazing.
looking off screen at my not my
Yeah.
teleprompter, but my
And
Yeah,
now
I mean,
this is
some
iPad.
people accuse us of like looking off screen at notes, and it's like, no, we're looking through the teleprompter. Back then, you need to watch these videos to see us looking off screen.
yeah.
and go over all the options you have for getting the best picture.
And like we've got like the
but for now,
ending tag running over you
feel
talking.
free to ask us in the comments.
Yeah, well, that's
Thanks for
because
watching.
All have SCART enables.
Oh, there's the SCART enables. SCART enables. I like normally I like catch myself when I say something that's like completely off, but I did not catch that.
Yeah, sometimes I'll say stuff and I don't even realize it until I hear the recording. I'm like, it's something that I hope that I've recorded multiple times, so I don't have to go back and record it. All right, so next up we have a solo episode of yours, and that is it's kind of an early time management, or it is the time management episode, but it's kind of an early episode for you. So I'm going to go ahead and start.
I mean, I guess it was kind of like I guess I was just kind of trying to think of like what are some interesting categories of games that might be like beyond like the normal categories that you would shove them into, like games for X, Y, or Z system,
right,
or games from X, Y, or Z company or developer, or this genre of game. Like, what is a mechanic or something that people might not think of too much? Or, you know, in this case, I saw it as something that I thought a lot of people were maybe annoyed by. That I was like, well, I want to like sort of preach the virtues of time management systems and games and why I like it so much, because it is a mechanic that I enjoy for a lot of reasons. I mean, I guess because it keeps the game moving, it sort of keeps you on your toes. I don't know, it just kind of draws me in a lot of the time. So
I'm going to go ahead and start it. Here we go.
All right.
The time management games.
Time limits have been around in games for a long time.
Close close-up of CRT, though. It's
yeah.
Believe it or not, you know, one of the things I think is most notable about this episode is that this is the first episode we ever did that has a tease before the opening.
Oh, really?
Yep. This is the episode that started that.
And that's just like standard format now.
Yeah.
Ugh, there's that
camera. Yeah, it is.
Games I had. Look how few PlayStation games. It's unbelievable.
Let's take a look at why I love them so much.
I mean, even Game Boy, not that much. Like it was a few. It was like probably a couple years after we started the channel that like I really started getting back into Game Boy.
Really going overboard in those glitch effects.
Yeah.
That intro.
So you know what I think brought on this episode is that I had just finished Lightning Returns.
Yeah, and you really liked it.
I loved it. You did not like it very much.
No, and this is after getting platinum trophies in 13 and 13 too.
Yeah, and I did the same. I did not get a platinum trophy in Lightning Returns. I think just because I was just kind of past that point in my life where I could like spend the time on getting platinums anymore.
Right.
But like I felt like this was such a bizarre design for an open world game, because I kind of have this mixed feelings relationship with open world games where I love the idea of them, but I feel like they push you in a certain direction a little too much, and it becomes so much about going from point A to point B. And Lightning Returns, I felt, was very good at not really holding your hand hardly at all. It gave you information, you kind of figured out where to go from there, but it still wasn't that difficult to figure out what to do, where to go. And the whole limited number of days concept, I mean, it just really worked for me. It felt like a game that was designed for no one other than me, and so I was really confused why it existed at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, like the story was not amazing. It was definitely weird and I don't know, but the gameplay was so good.
There's a couple of After Effects shots in this.
Yeah,
camera
we
blur.
used to like have this thing where we like wanted to have an After Effects shot. I don't really remember what the purpose or what I'm talking about there. But this, of course, is talking about Majora's Mask, which, I mean, maybe the first game I ever played with a real time management sort of concept. At least the first one that comes to mind. But you know, it's interesting that the 3DS version of this game really it misses the mark in a lot of areas, I think. And I just kind of lost the desire to continue playing it once I got the Zora Mask on 3DS, because they completely ruined how swimming feels, which was just one of the most fun things about it.
Really? So I mean,
you have to use magic to swim fast. Oh, you haven't played much Majora's Mask?
No, not really. I mean, it's time management stuff is not something I care too much for.
Well, but the thing with Majora's Mask though is like, I mean, you've got as many cycles as you want to finish it. I mean, you're not like pressured to. I mean, basically, what you do, you know, explore all you want, reset the days when you need to, and then once you're ready to start a dungeon, you just start it. No, this is one of my favorite gaming moments.
Yeah,
I did this stream.
It's an actual stream archive.
Yeah. Well, this was not a recreation. Like, this was like, you saw how few seconds I had, or out minutes, game minutes left. And if you get to the clock stops for a little bit after the boss fight, but I had like 8 game minutes, which is just a few seconds left before I got into the clock tower, which is where the game totally stops time. But I was doing a single cycle beat, other than the first cycle, which you like have to get to the end of and then reset. But like once you restart one time, I managed to do everything, which is, I'm sure speedrunners do that all the time. So this is Radiata Stories, which is
whenever we'll get comments about people being excited that they saw this game in an episode.
Yeah, it's definitely a game that has a cult following, and it sort of follows after Majora's Mask in terms of like people having their daily schedule. Majora's Mask has like people with different schedules across 3 days, but Radiata Story just has people. You can recruit basically everyone in the town, pretty much. And it's a unique game. So obviously we're looking at Pikmin 1 here, which is my favorite Pikmin.
You like it more than the second one?
Way more than the second.
But I have not really played either one of them.
I mean,
to any extent.
The thing is, like, people got really stressed out about the time limit in the first game, but really it's not that hard to get through it, in my opinion. I've never had to like restart or anything in Pikmin 1. I've beaten it probably at least 3 times. Pikmin 2, like, it's got these randomly generated dungeons, which were really boring. Outside of that, it's a pretty good game, but there's no tension, which is what having only 30 days to finish the game in the first, like, kind of created like a bit of tension that drew me into the game. Mm-hmm. There's just no tension in Pikmin 2. And Pikmin 3 kind of, which is what we're looking at here right now, Pikmin 3 kind of tried to strike a balance where it doesn't have like a hard time limit, but you do have like food resources that you have to replenish. And at some point in Pikmin 3, there's like this moment where like you lose everything suddenly. So it's like kind of intense for a little bit, but then you get it back pretty easily, and it's like you would like virtually never run out. So now here's Persona 4. Obviously, you enjoyed Persona 4 a lot.
Oh, I played it on the Vita.
You played it on the Vita, but I mean, there's a time management game that.
Yes, and I did like that.
I mean, go on.
I mean, like I just wish that the dungeons were a little bit more exciting.
Well, I mean, you need to play Persona 5 because Persona 5's dungeons are designed.
Right. Which I mean, I do need to play 5.
Yeah, it's you would like 5 a lot, I think. I mean, obviously it's a very long game, but it's fantastic. I mean, obviously, with random dungeons like this, there's the excitement comes from, just I guess the thrill of the dungeon crawl, so to speak.
Yeah,
that makes sense. And
it's such a good soundtrack on that game too.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, it's been a long time since I played it. I mean,
I remember you. I mean, I think you played through it just before we met in person for the first time.
Yeah, MagFest. Yep,
MagFest. Because I remember we were talking about it at dinner.
Yes.
The night that we got to MagFest.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure because MagFest was usually like January 2nd, or January 2nd or 3rd, but I'm pretty sure it was the 2nd. And that's when I finished it on New Year's Day of that year. Probably 2013, maybe.
Oh wow! I had like the teaser.
Look at that
for Persona 5, 2014 for PS3.
Yeah, they're off by what, like 4 years? They come out in 20.
I thought it was awful.
They were off by a couple of
2017
years.
it came out, so yeah.
I think it was out in Japan the year before, though.
I've also enjoyed a few other games with
the year before.
Well, there was
here's
Mega Man. What was that?
That was Pandora's Tower.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's the
that kind of has a bit of a time management thing because you have to.
I was impressed by the gameplay.
You have to bring that's Pandora's Tower as well. I really liked that game.
That was one of the Project Rainfall games, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
Gosh, it seems like such a long time ago.
You have to feed this girl this. You have to find monster meat.
Yeah, feed her.
And like, if she doesn't eat it, like she's going to turn into a. She's going to turn into like a monster.
And you have to, and you got to fight it and kill her.
I mean, I think the game just ends if she gets too far gone.
You just gotta give her that monster flesh.
Yep.
If you have any suggestions for
that's
games
it.
like
It's a really good game though. It was like the only one of the Operation Rainfall games that that actually had like benefit from being on the Wii,
right?
Because like it used like the pointer controls. The other games like really didn't have to be on.
I love the tension, and I
look at there's the ending credits there, and you do have the ending theme playing right here too.
Well, the MLeg theme. Yeah, so that we might have started getting some standardized sort of formats at this point.
That's a fun ending though to it.
Yeah, so there it is. There was that. I mean, it was certainly fun for me looking back at some of those games I hadn't looked at in a while, like Lightning Returns. Like I'd love to play that again on the Xbox One X with like the 4K video and stuff. Like it ran like poop on the PS3. Like it was not a well optimized or pretty looking game, but it was fun. It was fun. I just really enjoyed playing it.
Yep. All right. I think that's going to do it. If anybody has any suggestions of games or episodes they'd like us to do commentary on, let us know, and we'll see you next time.